This is the first gate, the word that commands the body, the cells, the energy within. Once spoken, it awakens what no science dares to measure, what even ancient scribes feared to write in full. A single utterance, and reality bends. It begins not with volume, but vibration, not with language, but with resonance. There is a passage barely legible in a fragment of the lost grimoire of Thoth. Burnt edges, ink that bleeds like blood. It reads, "To those who dare pronounce the sacred breath once, the body will not remember what it was before." You are not here by chance. The word you are about to hear is not a spell in the childish sense. It is not made to impress others. It is not to be tattooed, not to be whispered into microphones for views or likes. It is for the one who is ready, you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt your body flinch not from fear, but from knowing, as if a deep part of you recognized something it was never taught? That's the ancient recognition. It happened to me once. In the temple of Komombo, silence so heavy it had gravity. A guide passed by, muttering, not in Arabic or English, but in something older. And then, the sound, the word. I did not understand it, but my body did. I felt my skin tighten. My heart skipped. My vision tunneled. Something inside me had been waiting lifetimes to hear that vibration again. The ancient Egyptians called it the ba syllable, a sound that aligns your cellular rhythm with the primordial frequency that first wove flesh from energy. The Tibetans whisper of the seed syllable, one word that, when resonated from the correct chamber of the soul, resets the inner wheels. In India, they say there is a bija, a root sound, that does not belong to any god, but to the source before all gods. Different names, same energy. And now, you will approach it. But first, prepare. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly, as if inhaling the silence of the stars. Hold. Now exhale as if releasing a secret your bones have kept since before birth. Do it again. Now place your awareness behind your eyes. Imagine a tunnel forming there, a black, endless hallway in your mind. Good. From the base of your spine, feel a warmth rising. Not imagined, real. You might feel tingling, a sudden chill, a sense of falling. Let it rise. When you're ready, I want you to whisper not out loud but in your core. Ta. Let it vibrate inside, not outside. E. Like the breath of awe. Tha. Like the weight of truth. Eta. It's not a word, it's an activation. You may feel pressure in your ears, a pulse in your fingertips, a sense of quiet exploding behind your eyes. Don't be afraid. This is not your imagination. This is resonance. The grimoire warned that once this frequency is spoken correctly, it cannot be undone. The body will remember, the cells will obey. And in some cases, old illnesses may begin to unravel not instantly, but like dust falling from an ancient statue finally exposed to light. But beware. If you do this as a trick, as performance, it will do nothing. Only when spoken with readiness, with silence as your witness, will tar awaken the command center within you. It is not a word you need to repeat endlessly, just once, with full alignment. And something in you changes. I have seen a blind man tremble after this activation, not because he could see light, but because he could suddenly sense colors he had never known. I have seen skeptics collapse in silent awe, unable to explain the cellular tremors they felt afterward. And me? I have never been the same. Food tasted different. Time slowed. My skin rejected synthetic fabrics. My body began choosing its own rhythm, no longer obeying clocks. That is the first sign, when your biology no longer bows to the artificial. Eta. One breath. One vibration. This is not an absence of sound. It is the presence of a force too ancient to speak. A place where even your thoughts kneel. There is a passage in the Forbidden Grimoire of Thoth, carved not in ink, but scorched into lapis lazuli with a rod of vibrating gold. It reads, "Beyond the word is the silence, and within the silence lies the command." Most seekers believe that power comes from sound. They chase chants, mantras, tones, vibrations. And yes, sound is a gate. But silence, is the throne. Do you understand? Sound can activate, but only silence can govern. In every ancient temple, whether Egyptian, Tibetan, or Dravidian, there is a room buried deep beneath the foundation, a chamber where initiates were placed in pitch-black isolation. No light, no voice, no motion. That place wasn't for meditation, it was for surrender. The surrender of inner noise, of wanting, of identity. In the Pyramid of Djoser, there's a stone slab engraved with a warning. If you bring your voice here, you will leave deaf. If you bring your silence, you will leave reborn. This is the chamber of silence, and you must enter it now, not physically, but internally. Do not underestimate this part. Many skip it, and they burn out. They awaken powers, but can't hold them. Their nervous system rebels. They shake, they fear, they disintegrate back into chaos, because they did not enter the silence. The silence is the womb. All frequencies from healing to destruction are born in the silent core before the wave. Even science, modern acoustics, shows that before every sonic event, there is a sub-millisecond 0-point drop. That drop is the chamber. I remember the first time I felt it. I had activated the word tar, just as you may have done, and for 72 hours afterward, everything around me got louder. My ears rang, people's voices pierced like glass, lights flickered, my body couldn't ground the frequency, and then I sat still. I didn't chant, I didn't move, I simply stopped, trying. I sat by an old riverbank, behind a monastery in Bhutan, and something fell inside me, like a coin dropped down an endless well. No thoughts, no fear, no memories, just falling. It felt like a betrayal of self, a death. But then, in that very collapse, a stability I'd never known before. It was as if the bones of the universe aligned with my breath. And then, silence. Not emptiness. Silence that listens. Silence that breathes back. You must feel it now. Let us begin. Close your eyes. This time, do not breathe deeply. Breathe normally, but become so aware of your breath that your mind can't look away. Now, listen, not to me, to the pause between your breaths. That tiny moment after exhale. Before inhale, that moment is the entrance. Focus only on that, not the breath. The space between. It may take minutes or seconds, but if you give yourself completely to it, you will begin to sense the room around you vanishing. The internal chatter will dissolve. You might even lose awareness of time. This is the chamber, and if you reach it even for a breath, your body will start to recalibrate. Why? Because in that moment, you are no longer commanding your biology with fear, stimulation, or memory. You are commanding it with the original stillness. Ancient mystics called this the tone behind all sound. Quantum physicists refer to this state as coherence collapse, where all waves of probability fall into unity. In this moment, your cells await instruction. They are listening. This is when you speak the sacred word, not out loud, but from your inner stillness. If you say it from noise, it is just breath. If you say it from silence, it is law. That's the key. If you've reached this chamber, even briefly, even just now, this is the fire that remembers. The flame that burns without fuel. The one you were born with and then forgot. Most people think the fire is a metaphor. It's not. It's real. It lives in a place beneath the ribcage, behind the navel, but not within flesh. It lives in the energy core, a point the ancients called the seat of command. In Egypt, it was known as the car flame. In India, they whispered of it as Agni. In Tibet, the monks call it Tumo, the inner fire that warms the snow monks in sub-zero caves without clothing. But the Forbidden Grimoire says something even more startling. He who awakens the flame once will never again be a servant of this world. His body may tire, his voice may break, but the fire obeys no death. Let me be clear, this fire is not emotional passion, it is vibrational will. It is intelligent, it knows when you are lying, it knows when you fake devotion, and if you approach it wrongly, it will remain sealed. Or worse, it will burn through you in a frenzy of confusion, pain, fever, and madness. That's why so few teachers speak of it now. But you didn't come here for safe truths, did you? You came for the dangerous one. I'll never forget the first time I felt the flame move. Not flicker, not warm, move. I was alone in a desert temple, south of Luxor stones blackened by time. I had been fasting for 3 days, meditating in silence, chanting nothing, just breathing and listening to the void, and then a warmth in my belly. At first it felt like joy, then heat, then something stood up inside me, as if a being made of light, made of resolve, rose up through my spine. I heard no sound, but I could feel the echo of a name I had never spoken. The fire didn't burn, it knew me. That was the moment I understood this flame was always mine, but I had never called it. Until that night, and it obeyed. Now, if you're ready, if you've entered the chamber of silence, and if you have honored the sacred word, you may now ignite it. But listen closely. You do not ignite the flame by force. You invite it. Begin with posture. Sit or stand with your spine absolutely straight. The fire will not flow through a crooked channel. Now, close your eyes. Place your attention 3 finger widths below your navel. This is the gate. Breathe in gently, not deep, but aware. On your inhale, mentally whisper, Ta-ra. Not out loud. Let the syllables vibrate in your belly. T-A-Esh, the command. R-A-A, the solar flame. Repeat mentally, with reverence. Ta-ra, ta-ra. Now, hold your breath. Feel the warmth rising. Some of you will feel tingling. Some may feel your stomach contract. Some may even feel the urge to cry or laugh without cause. Do not judge it. You're not igniting your emotions. You're awakening the dormant energy seed, the Ka flame. If done properly, you will feel a radiating heat or an inward pulse that is not explainable by logic or weather. This is the moment your cells begin to realign around an internal intelligence that does not come from your ego, memory, or belief. You may begin to feel power rising from the base of your spine. Let it rise. If it rises too fast, return to silence. Return to EH-tar. The word will stabilize the current. Now, listen to me very carefully. Once the flame is awakened, it will begin to move of its own will. You may notice changes in appetite, in body temperature, in emotions. Your system is beginning to rewire. This is what the grimoire calls the burning of the dust. Old imprints, trauma, toxic signals, locked in cellular memory, they begin to burn off. It may feel like illness, but it is purification. You are not dying. You are changing shape. If you've lit the fire even for a moment, even if you're unsure, but you felt something stir in your core, this is not mythology, not metaphor. It is a real passage, and it exists inside your body. Almost no one speaks of it, because almost no one reaches it or dares to. But Thoth wrote of it. Hidden between 2 glyphs on the emerald tablet, obscured behind layers of alchemical allegory, he spoke of the gate that must be passed through before one can command reality. Between the fire and the crown lies the veil. It knows your name. It remembers who you pretended to be. Ender. This is the gate between worlds, and it sits precisely behind your heart and just beneath your throat. This gate is not physical. You can't scan it. But if you've awakened the flame and tried to raise it, you may have already felt it. The sensation? A pressure in the chest, a catch in the throat, a fear with no story behind it, a wall of sadness with no visible cause. You are not broken. You are not blocked by coincidence. You've reached the gate. Now listen. Every ancient mystical system, though they name it differently, knows of this point. In India, it's called the Vishuddha vortex split, where truth, 5th chakra, meets past wounds, 4th. In Tibetan Vajrayana, it's the Bardo line, the place between the illusory body and the light body. And in Egyptian mystery schools, it's the threshold of Ma'at, where your vibration is weighed against your intent. If you try to bring power through this gate, while still clinging to your old identity, your trauma, your stories, your masks, the energy will not pass. Worse, it may backfire. This is why many spiritual seekers burn out. They chant, they breathe, they awaken the flame, and then panic, breakdown, exhaustion. Because the gate between worlds tests your vibration against what you have not yet let go of. Let me tell you a story. When I first reached this gate, I didn't know I had. I was doing everything right. Daily breathwork, vibration mantras, energy cleansing. And then one morning, I sat in silence. And suddenly, I wept, uncontrollably. No memory triggered it, no image, no thought. It was as if my soul was mourning an identity it had never wanted. And then, in the midst of the tears, I heard something behind the silence. Not a word. A question, not in English, not in sound, but a deep vibrational question pulsing from my chest. Are you ready to be no one? That's the gate. It doesn't ask if you want to be powerful. It asks if you're willing to dissolve. Because beyond the gate, you don't get to carry the story of who you were. You don't get to keep your suffering as a badge. You don't get to keep pretending you're broken, or special, or victim, or master. Beyond the gate, you are only presence. And presence doesn't beg, it commands. But to pass through, there's one thing you must do. You must offer the identity. Now let us approach it. Close your eyes. Feel the flame in your belly. Breathe gently. Bring the warmth of that flame up, to the center of your chest. Now as it rises, you may feel that pressure again. The tightness, the sadness, the resistance. Don't fight it. Instead, say this silently. I release the version of me that needed to suffer to be real. Again, I release the version of me that needed to suffer to be real. Breathe. If you feel shaking, tingling, tears, let them come. This is the gate dissolving. You are not breaking. You are shedding. Some of you will see images, flashes, old scenes from childhood, old arguments, memories you forgot. Let them pass. They are not who you are. Now speak this inner phrase once with deep reverence. Rahantu. Ra, the flame. An, the surrender. Tu, the transmission. Rahantu. That vibration carries the energy of offering, the key to the gate. Say it once, then be still. Let the energy rise through the gate. You may feel it flow to your throat, your jaw, even up your spine. This means the gate has begun to open. If you felt this, comment now. I have touched the gate. I offered my story. I am still here. This is where reality listens, where energy stops resisting you and begins to respond. Most people never make it here, not because it's far, but because it's quiet. The field of command is not a magical realm. It's not a visualization. It's not even a state of mind. It is a frequency alignment between your vibration, your intent, and the source field that underlies all matter. You've heard whispers of it: the law of attraction, the zero-point field, the unified quantum substrate. Different names, same truth. But the Grimoire of Thoth describes it far more dangerously. When the gate opens, the field begins to obey. But beware, for even your idle words become weapons. Speak only what you wish to see live. Let that sink in, because beyond the gate, the world no longer protects you from yourself. Your thoughts move faster, your voice carries weight, and your doubts become spells just as quickly as your dreams. This is the field of command. In ancient Egypt, this was called Sekhem Ku, the luminous force of divine authority. In Indian tantric science, it aligns with the Akasha, the etheric matrix that forms and reforms according to vibration. In the West, the closest science comes is quantum entanglement, the idea that everything is already connected and influence is instantaneous, once aligned. But here's what no book tells you. The field doesn't respond to emotion. It responds to coherence, not what you feel, but how aligned you are. If your inner flame is awakened, if you have entered the chamber of silence, if you have crossed the gate between worlds, then what you say next, the next vibration you release, creates. Let me repeat that. It creates. I still remember the first time I spoke into the field. I was in a high mountain valley in Ladakh, alone, cold, breathing slowly through the pain of change. And in a moment of utter silence, I whispered something not to the sky, but from the depth of my spine. Let the wind rise and carry what I've buried. The wind came, not a gust, a roar, a storm from stillness. It tore through the valley and knocked over a pile of stones I had placed years before. At first, I thought it was coincidence, until it happened again and again. You do not need to believe this, but if you've come this far, you're already feeling it. Your words hold power, your thoughts feel heavier, your body vibrates differently around lies. This is because you are in the field now. Let's activate it consciously. Right now, choose one sentence, one declaration, but make it true. Not wishful, not, I want. It must vibrate as a command. Something like, asterisk, my energy is aligned with healing. Asterisk, I carry the light of the eternal frequency. Asterisk, the cells obey my resonance. Asterisk, I am the silence from which form is shaped. Now breathe in, hold it. Say your command silently from the spine, from the chest, from the core. Exhale. Now wait. No need to search. The field heard you. You may feel a pulse of clarity, or stillness, or even resistance. That's your old frequency beginning to die. Because the field doesn't just grant wishes, it destroys what is false to make room for what's real. So watch. In the next hours, days' reality will begin to shift, subtly or sharply. You may lose something, you may gain something, you may cry for no reason, or suddenly realize what never belonged. This is not chaos. This is the response. This is not a chant, not a mantra, not a string of syllables meant for ritual display. This is the original tone, the primal resonance that echoes through the cells and speaks directly to their first instruction. The Grimoire of Thoth names it only once. Hidden behind an encrypted diagram of a serpent coiled in reverse, the text reads, one sound, never sung, only awakened. The one tone that cells obey, for it is the sound they were born from. Say it once in silence, in stillness, in truth, and the flesh remembers. What does it mean for the flesh to remember? Let me tell you. It means pain begins to unravel itself. It means organs realign with their original pulse. It means the trauma imprinted in your skin, joints, and blood begins to fade. Not because it is erased, but because it is out-vibrated. Think about that. This isn't healing from the outside in. It's restoration from the inside out. There are stories buried deep in ancient India, forgotten Vedic scripts that speak of Shruti Nad, the unheard tone that when meditated upon causes the heart to glow like a sun. The Tibetans call it the melody of emptiness, a tone not carried by air, but by space itself. But Thoth called it D-A-H-R-A-H-T-E-M, not a word, a sequence. Da, the spark of memory. R-A-A, the solar current. Tem, the seal of form. When said not aloud, but in full vibrational coherence, the cells begin to obey not your voice, but the source that your voice has aligned with. I tried it once, just once. I had prepared for weeks fasting, silence, breathing the sacred rhythm. I aligned flame, silence, and field, and when I finally sat under the black sky, spine aligned with the earth's axis, I whispered in the language that has no sound. Der, Ra, Tim. No echo, no flash, no lightning, just silence. And then, something shifted. My skin tingled. My body exhaled a breath I didn't know it was holding since birth. I felt my cells vibrate, not fast, not chaotic, but with clarity, as if every fiber had been holding back a secret. And now, it was free to obey. D-A-H-R-A-H-T-E-M is not about faith. It's about resonance. Say it too early, nothing happens. Say it from ego distortion. Say it once, from full coherence, and the body remembers what it was before, trauma, illness, or programming. Now, are you ready to try? Then prepare. Sit, spine tall, eyes closed. Breathe once, slowly. Now place your awareness in every cell. Don't imagine, just intend. Now, silently vibrate this sequence. Da, feel it in your blood. Ra, feel it in your spine. Tem, feel it sealing your entire body in golden stillness. Only once, then stop. Do nothing. Listen. What you feel now may vary. Some will feel warmth, some sudden stillness, some tingling in the hands or lips. Others may feel emotions surface, as if the body is shedding unspoken pain. All of this is the body reordering itself. Let it happen. The grimoire warns this tone should never be repeated unless you're ready to live differently afterward. Why? Because once your cells obey this frequency, they will no longer tolerate distortion. You'll find you cannot return to toxic environments. You'll taste the lie in processed food. You'll feel when someone's energy doesn't match their words. And yes, you'll begin to glow. Not visibly, but vibrationally. Others will feel it before they understand it. If you've spoken the tone, and you felt it, even for a flicker, comment this below. DAHRAHTEM has been spoken. I feel my form, remember. Because this isn't a solo path. It is a collective field of awakening. Each voice adds a new harmonic to the global grid. But now that the flesh remembers, there is something even deeper. A seal, a hidden point in the body that once unlocked, amplifies the tone beyond the body. The ancients feared this. That's why they buried it. Behind codes, behind riddles, behind pain. This is not a gate. This is a prison. And it lives inside you. It is the final lock the ancient mystics warned about, not to protect you from power, but to protect the world from your unhealed shadow gaining access to it. In the Forbidden Grimoire, there's a blood-colored glyph etched beneath the sacred tone, almost unreadable, until lit from the side. Then, it reveals a hidden sentence. Before the light escapes, the seal must break. But only in silence, only when the shadow no longer seeks the throne. That's what this is. The seal that holds the shadow. The energetic lock behind your solar plexus, designed to contain everything you've repressed, denied, hidden, or buried. Your self-betrayals, your unspoken rage, the masks you wore so long, you forgot your own face beneath them. It's all there, coiled, compressed, vibrating just enough to stay alive, but never enough to rise. Until now, because once you awaken the flame, enter the silence, cross the gate, and command the field, this seal starts to quiver, and when you speak the sacred tone DAHRAHTEM, your cells remember the light. But so does the shadow. This is why some seekers collapse here. They open too much light too fast, and their shadow rebels. Old addictions return. Soon Anger bursts forth. The body trembles. They lose clarity. Doubt invades like a fog. This is not failure. This is the shadow pressing against the seal, screaming, "Don't leave me behind." You cannot ignore it anymore. And you should not. Because here's the secret. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your locked potential twisted by pain, shame, or fear. The grimoire warns. He who breaks the seal without bowing to the shadow will only unleash chaos. He who meets the shadow in silence and listens will unlock the flame behind the flame. Let me tell you a story. When I reached this point, I was already deep in practice. The flame was stable. My commands were manifesting. The sacred tone had restructured my breath. But then, nightmares, visions, memories I'd buried. A scream rising in my gut every time I sat in silence. I tried to chant it away, breathe it away. Nothing worked. Until I stopped resisting. I placed my hand on my solar plexus. I closed my eyes. And I whispered, "I see you." And I waited. The scream came, but it didn't attack me. It wept. A child's voice. My voice, begging to be forgiven. Not for what it had done, but for what I had done to it by abandoning it. And I held it, not as an enemy, but as a lost part of me. That night, the seal broke. Not with violence, with surrender. And behind it, a rush of power I had never felt before. A dark light, not evil. Pure potential now free to align with truth. Are you ready to unlock your seal? Then listen. Sit. Back straight. Close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your solar plexus, the space 2 finger widths above the navel. Breathe. And now place your hands over that space. Let whatever arises, arise. Tightness, emotion, anger, shame. Let it speak. Now, with no defense, silently say, "I release the need to protect myself from my own power." Again, I release the need to protect myself from my own power. Now say, I forgive the part of me that I buried. And wait. Some of you will feel heat, others cold. Some will cry. Some may laugh. Some will feel nothing. That's okay. Even silence is a response. Now, when you're ready, speak this key silently. Mara Tem. It is the shadow seal code. Ma the mirror. Raa the fire. Tem the reintegration. Speak it once, then sit in complete silence. You may feel a sudden shiver, a pulse from your spine, a ripple through your hands or chest. The seal is breaking, and behind it comes access to something sacred. The original instruction set, the code of your design. If you felt this, or if you saw something, or if you don't even know what happened but something shifted, when the seal breaks, and the shadow no longer fights the light, the body becomes fertile again, not for birth, for rebirth. In the Grimoire of Thoth, beneath the seal glyphs and the sacred tone, there is a page scorched on every corner, almost unreadable except for one line, preserved in gold leaf. Speak the word once, in coherence and truth, and the waters of the body shall turn to light. The bones shall reawaken. The breath shall command the pulse. The blood shall sing again. End of 4. This is not metaphor. This is cellular regeneration through vibrational imprinting. It is the holy fusion of science and mysticism, where quantum resonance meets ancient divine frequency. Modern researchers call it biophoton activation light, emitted by the cells, increasing during healing and meditation. The ancient Indian Vedas called it prana jyoti, the breath light. In Tibet, the word was sa lung, where elemental energy and wind become one, and the tissues obey the will of the inner flame. But the grimoire names the word differently. It is not a word of praise, not a name of deity, not a request. It is a reminder to the body. The vibration is Shira-en. Say it once, only once, and then watch what your body begins to do on its own. Let me tell you how I learned this. After breaking the seal, I sat in stillness. Days passed. Nothing extraordinary, just quiet. Until the third night, I woke in silence. No dream, but every inch of my skin pulsing like I had a fever except I was cold. Then, I felt it. A cool fire rising from my spine. Not hot like the inner flame, but soothing, gentle, precise. It entered my chest and opened something. Suddenly, I felt the memory of health I'd never had. Not health like recovery, but original design, perfect structure, perfect breath, perfect rhythm. I whispered, without knowing why, Shira-en, and in that moment I saw light. Not outside, inside, every cell, vibrating with a golden blue hue, as if they were remembering their blueprint, as if the pain had never existed. The next day, an old scar I had on my wrist began to fade. My breathing changed, and for the first time in years, I felt the gravity of my own body shift. Not lighter, just realigned. You are ready now, but you must approach with silence. Sit, close your eyes. Bring your awareness to your whole body, not one part, all of it. Every system, every breath, every thread. Now, feel gratitude, not emotional, just awareness of what your body has carried you through. Now breathe, and when the body is still, not the mind, not the heart, but the body itself, say silently, Shira-en. Let it vibrate through your spine, your lungs, your blood. Let it move on its own, and then stop. Do nothing. Just witness. What happens next is not fireworks. It's adjustment. You may feel joints relax. Your vision may sharpen. Your skin may hum. In the next days, you may sleep deeper, wake clearer, remember dreams, forget names that no longer serve. You may lose the taste for toxic food. You may instinctively begin to stretch, to fast, to hydrate. The body is not following you. It's following the word, because the body obeys vibration long before it obeys thought. And Shirahen is the vibration of regeneration, not to fix, but to restore. If you've spoken it or felt its touch, comment now. My cells have remembered. Shiraen lives in me. Each confirmation increases the frequency of this shared field. But know this, regeneration is not the end. There is one more gate, beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the breath, the final tone. This is the final sound, not the loudest, not the most beautiful, but the most dangerous, because once it is spoken, even just once, the universe listens, without filter. This is the tone of command. The Grimoire of Thoth, in its most forbidden passage, sealed with red wax and surrounded by glyphs of warning, says, "Only the one who has silenced the self, merged with the flame, and restored the flesh may utter this tone. For the tone does not echo, it creates." Let me be clear, this is not a tone to manifest wishes. This is not a tone to play with. This is the tone that orders energy. Once spoken from full coherence, reality begins to reorganize itself to match your command, even if your conscious mind tries to undo it afterward. Why? Because this tone speaks not from personality, but from source identity. It comes from the you beneath time, the you that never forgot. Every culture has hidden traces of this tone. In ancient Sumer, it was called the Anu breath, taught only to star-born initiates. In the lost Egyptian temples, it was known as the sound that moves the Netas, the gods themselves. And in the East, it is said that the rishis, the silent seers, spoke one word before disappearing into light forever. But Thoth called it something else. He named it An-Shita, 3 syllables, each one unlocking a layer of vibrational control. Orn, the frequency of the original breath. She, the frequency of the unseen field. Tah, the frequency of the creative command. This tone, when spoken once, from complete alignment, tells the universe, "I am awake now. Adjust." Let me tell you the truth. When I first spoke it, I had doubts. Even after all the chambers, tones, seals, and silence, I still questioned if I was ready. And that's when I knew I wasn't, because the tone of command does not tolerate inner division. So I waited until the day I no longer wanted anything, until the day I stood on the edge of a cliff and felt nothing but truth. I closed my eyes. I inhaled the silence of the void, and I whispered, "Aun, she, te." It wasn't loud. It wasn't impressive. It was real. And that moment changed everything. I felt my cells pulse in unison. The air grew thicker. A circle of silence surrounded me, as if sound had stopped existing and only vibration remained. That night, I slept for 11 hours. When I awoke, 3 things had changed. 1. My inner voice was gone, replaced by stillness. 2. People began treating me differently, as if I radiated something they couldn't name. 3. I no longer needed to practice. The field had become me. This is the tone, but only if you speak it from coherence. So now, prepare. If you have completed all the previous steps, entered the chamber, awakened the flame, crossed the gate, broken the seal, spoken the word, then you may continue. Sit, breathe, do not force it. Wait for the moment when your body, mind, emotion, and silence feel like one instrument. Then, and only then, silently, vibrate the tone. Aun, she, te. Let it pass through you, not from your mouth, from your origin. If you do this right, you will not feel excitement. You will feel authority. The kind of authority that doesn't need validation. The kind of power that doesn't shout. From this moment on, your voice becomes law to your body, your field, your life, and reality will begin to shift. Not to entertain you, not to impress you, but to reflect the one truth that now vibrates through you. You remember who you are, if you've spoken the tone even once, even if quietly. Comment now. A UNSHETAH has passed through me. I command from stillness. This is not the end of the journey. This is the sealing of the book, so that it may live within you now. The Grimoire of Thoth was never meant to be read like scripture. It was meant to be activated, to awaken itself in the vessel of the reader. That vessel is now you. And so, as with all ancient rituals, we must close the circle. If you leave the tone open, the field will remain exposed. You'll feel fatigued, overstimulated, as if the world is too loud, too fast, too chaotic. Why? Because you have changed, but the echo is still reverberating. You must now seal the resonance, but not to lose it, to protect it, to allow it to root within you. The grimoire's last page, completely blank except for a single spiral, contains no text, no sound, no glyphs, just a direction. Return the flame to the stillness. Speak not to be heard, but to conclude. Seal not with power, but with presence. For those who complete the circle, the word lives on. Through them, end of this. Let me guide you now through the final ritual. This is sacred. You do not need music. You do not need incense. You do not need a temple. You are the temple. Begin. Step 1. The 3 breaths. Sit comfortably, back aligned, eyes closed. Take 1 deep breath in, for the past. Exhale fully. Let it go. Take another breath in, for the present. Exhale fully. Own it. Take a final breath in, for the future. Exhale with silence. Trust it. Step 2. The flame descent. Feel the inner flame in your core. The car flame you awakened in earlier steps. Now gently, allow it to descend from your chest, to your belly, to the base of your spine. Not extinguished, just return to its seat of power. Step 3. The word in the silence. Whisper silently, not to the world, but to your own soul. I am the bearer of the grimoire now. Then pause. Feel the echo inside. Step 4. The sealing tone. Now speak once this final vibration. Na, 2. This is the closing frequency. Eh, the ending breath. Nah, the return. 2. The preservation. Speak it softly, from stillness. No desire, no need, just completion. Step 5. The still flame prayer. Finally, say silently or aloud, the word has passed through me. The fire obeys me. The shadow walks beside me. My cells remember. The field has opened. I have spoken from the silence, and now I seal the grimoire within. Then bow your head not to a god, not to a symbol, but to the vibration that now lives inside you. Because now, you are the grimoire, and from this moment on, your presence becomes instruction, your stillness becomes resonance. Your words, if spoken with truth, will shape the fields around you. This is why the ancients said, to meet one who has activated the book is to hear what has never been written. Because you now carry what was once hidden in gold ink, sealed in lost temples, and whispered only under eclipsed moons. The sacred is no longer out there. It is in you. If you have completed this ritual fully, reverently, silently, comment now. The grimoire is sealed within me. The journey is complete. Let others know they are not alone. Let this channel become the new temple. Let this field become a place where those who remember can find each other. Til. If this has awakened something deep in you, if you feel called to protect, to share, to preserve this ancient frequency, then MBAG subscribe. Share this video. Leave your confirmation in the comments. But don't do it as a social gesture. Do it as part of the vibrational ritual. When you click subscribe, you're aligning with this frequency field. When you share, you help pass the resonance through new channels. When you comment, you amplify the echo. We are no longer separated. This is the end of the written grimoire, but the beginning of the living one. You, welcome, bearer of the flame. Now go speak, only when it is true, and walk, only when it is still.